Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dallas Hoops Fancast. I'm your host, Sydney, and I'm here with my co-host, Martin.
Hey, guys.
Good game.
All right, well, we'll talk to you guys.
Entertaining, I thought.
What an emotional roller coaster that was. I mean, it started with, before the game, whether Luka was going to play or not.
Oh, yeah.
And then we find out he's going to play.
And then suddenly...
And then all of a sudden, Porzingis is out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, the emotional roller coaster just started before the game even started.
Well, and going back to Game 3, where they got destroyed. And so it's like coming into this, you're like, oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, it was so... And then the Clippers are dominating into the second quarter. Luka comes back into the game, decides, I'm not going down like this. I'm not playoff P. Okay? And he wills his team to make it a game again. And yes, people will say the Clippers stopped playing. That's probably true. That happens anytime you have the lead.
Yeah.
But we took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And going into the third quarter, the Mavericks have rhythm. They're playing well. Into the fourth, it's Luka time. It was just, and then they go up by like 14 points.
Yeah.
That lead evaporates in like 30 seconds. And it was so frustrating. But they found a way to get it into overtime. Luka makes the last 7 points, or makes the last 7 points for the Mavs, including the game winner.
I feel like this is an understatement, but Luka was so clutch. Like, it sounds stupid because he hit the game winner. But, I mean, even before that, he was so clutch.
Even in the fourth quarter, before it even went to overtime, he hit some big shots, some big step-back threes. I mean, this guy, okay, he could barely walk.
Yeah.
On his left ankle after the previous game. And what do you say? Like, he comes out and you're going against, he outplayed Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi missed the game-winning shot at the end of the fourth quarter. Luka doesn't miss his. And
I mean, obviously Kawhi
it's just one
has
shot. Yeah,
Kawhi has hit game winners, and obviously we know last year the game winner, the series ender. But just in this game, Luka, like, man... Oh, okay, I'll let you finish. You look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can put the argument to rest. Is Luka a superstar? He's clearly a superstar.
Yes.
He is playing on the same level as some of the best players in the league. When playoff P is over there struggling like crazy, and he's supposed to be a superstar.
Yeah.
And Luka is just putting him to shame. Trey Burke. I mean, what do we say about this dude? This guy was on the streets.
Trey Burke is like the pickup of the bubble. I mean, he has been today, I guess this afternoon, he had 25 points. He was a plus 17. And I mean, he got
the start.
Yeah, I hear he's kind of streaky. And I guess he kind of is, but he's not. It's not that bad. To me, I feel like he's been pretty consistent for the Mavs.
I've only noticed him being on a hot streak, so I haven't got the cold streak yet.
Yeah.
So, and I thought Chuck Cooperstein on the radio after the game mentioned how nobody's really given Trey Burke the green light and the confidence to just go and let him play his game. Mm-hmm. And Carlisle's kind of just told him, just go out there and score and work hard on defense.
Yeah.
And he can get by anybody.
He does. And he had that one where he took Kawhi.
Yes. Oh, a dribble. He had Kawhi on skates. You know, and he can get by anybody. And the problem is the Clippers don't have a rim protector. And so these wing defenders are supposed to keep these players out of the lane.
But they're not.
But okay, to be fair,
Luka gets to the lane at will.
Yes. And that's the thing, like, as great as you are on defense, better offense trumps great defense every time. Mm-hmm. And as great as you are on defense, you can only keep a guy in front of you so many times. These guys are professional scorers. Trey Burke is a professional scorer. Luka's just a dog. Luka's just a dog. And without a rim protector down there, it's layup after layup after layup.
Okay, there's so much to talk about. Let's just start with the shot, since that's the most exciting thing. So
I told you before.
You said he was going to hit it.
He's going to make it. I just felt it.
And I was like, in these situations, most of the time, it does not go in because you only have 3 seconds. It's a game winner. It's a buzzer beater. Those shots,
it's a miracle shot.
Yeah, they just don't go in. And not like it's a miracle, but the odds are he's not going to make it. And and then they got it, and the move that he pulled.
He had Reggie Jackson going one direction while he was going another direction.
He got exactly the shot he wanted. For only having 3.7 seconds left, he got a clean shot. He got a shot that he would get if he had a full shot clock.
Yeah.
It was a clean, in rhythm, step back three. And I mean, and when he shot it, I was like, oh God, that looks short. And then the closer it got, I was like, oh my God. And then it swished.
Yes. It was beautiful.
Swished.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it bounced around or kind of rolled around and then in. I mean, it was like laser. That was the shot, and it swished.
It's cold-blooded. I mean, when he creates that kind of separation on his step back, it's usually good.
Yeah.
And Reggie Jackson, he just didn't know where Luka was going to go.
Yeah.
And Lukas, so his hesitation, his shiftiness, his cut back to the other
size.
direction.
He can. They showed one graphic when he did
like 9 feet on one step.
It wasn't a step back. It was
a Euro step.
Yeah, it was a Euro step. But he covered almost 9 feet. And so it's the same concept on a step back. He can get so much space. And man, in the playoffs and in the bubble, whenever he's been focused, that step back is going in. And I think it has a lot to do with what you said about him being focused and actually caring about the game. Is like when he's honed in, he doesn't miss.
I just think he gets bored sometimes in the regular season. And so his shooting percentages, his free throws, it's a lot. In my personal opinion, it's just because he's bored.
Yeah.
But when he's on, when he's focused, he is hands down top 5 player in the league. And I'll argue anybody with that, because what he does in big games and big moments is, I mean, look at playoff P. I mean, the complete opposite. He's just...
I thought after this game he was going to have ice bags all over.
Yeah, well, he can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So I noticed him
during
the
entire
game. Every time outbreak, he's playing with his tape, like his fingers bothering him.
He's
got to have an excuse as to why he's not shooting well.
Well, and the thing is, he said, like, I'm not a prolific scorer.
Like
whatever.
James Harden.
Yeah.
I do other things.
Even though the reason you're a star is because you're...
He averaged 25 points a game.
Yeah. He's like, I just try to affect the game everywhere, playmaking, defense, all that. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not doing anything. Because I was thinking, like, wait, who is he guarding? Because whoever it is, the Mavs still dropped 135 points on you.
The dude scored 9 points.
Yeah.
In a game where your team scored 133. By default, you should at least got double digits.
Yeah.
At least get 10.
Well, and they talked...
it's 9 points, 3 of 14. Now, that's like 3 games in a row where you shot 21%.
He's averaging, I think, a little over 11 points in the last 3 games. Yeah. And Doc Rivers, they asked Doc Rivers about, like, are you going to change anything or do anything different? He's like, we're running the same thing we ran all season when he averaged 25 points a game. So there's no adjustment needed. He called his team emotionally weak.
I thought it was a direct shot at Paul George.
Well, maybe, but that means soft. Emotionally weak is soft.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Are they just not taking the Mavs seriously?
I told you before the series that the Clippers beating the Mavs 3-0 in the regular season was ultimately going to help the Mavericks, because in the Mavericks' mind, they have to come out with everything they got. And in the Clippers,
they got all the film they needed.
Right. And exactly. They also experienced this hard-nosed defense that the Clippers showed. They put it all on the table in those 3 games. So the Mavericks experienced playoff Clipper basketball in those 3 games. So they got that experience.
Yeah.
And then the Clippers, because they had beat the Mavericks 3 times, 2 of them decidedly, they were like, we got this. We can stop Luka. He ain't nothing.
Well, and I think also in game 3, since they did blow out the Mavs,
it wasn't. I mean, it was only an 8-point game. The Mavs kept coming back.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a garbage time comeback. It was a legit, they had their starters in, they had a chance to win. But since they got that kind of happened in game 3, and then in this one, they got a 20-point lead. I don't know if they just thought, like, these guys are nothing. But it was like, I think somebody asked Kawhi maybe, like, at what point, like, why are you guys not playing as well as we all thought you could play? Like, when is it going to turn on? And I don't know. It's like, I think I asked this after game 1. At what point is it that the Clippers aren't showing up or whatever? And at what point is it the Mavs are outplaying them? And after every win, it's like, oh my God, we're never going to lose again. We're going to win a series.
Basketball.
Yeah, but after every loss, it's like, you know what? They're just a better team.
Well, look, I thought the Clippers would win the series, obviously. I thought a huge victory for the Mavs this playoffs would be 2 wins.
Yeah, which
take
they have
them
so
to
far.
Yeah, take them to 6 games. So in my opinion, they've done what they needed to do.
Yeah.
But if we just imagine for a moment the adversity that the Mavericks have faced in this first round. In game 1, they're in control of the game.
Yes.
In control. And then Porzingis gets ejected.
Porzingis.
Yeah, maybe he's questionable. Maybe he should have made a smarter decision. Whatever. He's out. The Mavericks lose. And they couldn't score once Porzingis was out. Game 2, 1 led wire to wire.
Yep.
The Clippers never led in the game.
Yep.
Game 3, Luka goes out.
Yeah,
Ankle
true.
injury.
Didn't
Didn't
really
play the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Really played like a minute or something. And he goes out, and the Mavs still fought back.
Yeah.
Still made it a game.
And
And,
then
the Clippers had to have one final run to extend it out, but they fought back. In this one, Luka with 1 foot. Porzingis out.
Down 21.
Down 21.
And I don't want to hear any more crap about the Clippers but they don't have Patrick Beverly.
Oh, my God.
And it's like, okay, first of all, I've already explained how, I get the value of Patrick Beverly, but not this much.
No.
I shared this stat on Twitter. They were 10 and 11 without him, but 3 of those were without Kawhi, 3 were without Paul George, and 1 was without both of them. But regardless, the Mavs were without Kristaps, and Luka had a sprained ankle. There is literally no excuse other than
down 21.
Yeah, other than just the Clippers aren't focused, or maybe they are focused and Paul George is sucking just because he just sucks in the playoffs.
He's soft.
Maybe he would do this whoever the team was.
Well, you can see his fake normalcy in his post game.
He doesn't.
Hey man, what's up, man? Like nothing's bothering him.
Oh my God! And he took so many shots at the Mavs.
I know.
He was like, one of the question was, what challenges have you guys faced in this series? He's like, no challenge, just gotta. And then whatever he said, and I'm like, what? And then he's like, yeah, I just gotta do. Oh, because he was talking about how he's struggling, and he was like, the shots just aren't going in. They're not great defenders. I'm just not making the shot. And I'm like, what? I know Dorian, he's not Kawhi Leonard defensively, but he is a good defender in the league. And then I don't know, maybe he's getting switches that he thinks is advantageous, but it's like, dude, you're not playing well right now.
I was going to say, none of that really matters.
Yeah.
The fact is you are playing like trash.
Yeah.
And you have to look at for you to deflect this fake confidence, this fake everything's okay, this fake, they're going to start going in. Well, you got to start making them.
Yeah.
Because in playoff basketball, the pressure's on. Mm-hmm. And the players that can win are the ones that can withstand that pressure.
Yeah.
And you and I have gone back and forth about this all the time in the past about what it means to truly be tough. And the Clippers that's that fake toughness. Paul George has got that fake toughness. I would say the one person that's truly tough on their team is Kawhi. Yeah. And it's because he makes the shots when they need to be made. He steps up in games when he needs to step up. That's what true toughness is.
Yeah.
And right now he looks soft. Paul George looks soft right now. And nobody's going to talk about him being a soft player.
Because of his track record.
Yeah.
Well, although his track record in the playoffs is terrible.
Not good.
But they are talking about it.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, and then he wants to act like he doesn't care. Then why are you posting that you don't care? Or like
he's not worried.
Yeah. And it's soft. And I think when Doc Rivers said we're playing emotionally soft, I think a lot of that, in his mind, he had playoff P in his head.
He didn't really, and we're talking about the Clippers a lot, but we're going to go on into everything. But Doc Rivers didn't really hold back in his post-game press conference. He said the team was playing emotionally weak. That quote earlier when he was saying, we're running the same stuff for him we did in the regular season when he averaged 25 points. He's
got to make them.
Yeah, he's, basically, their defense hasn't been great. They're not focused. He didn't really hold back. And so, I don't know. I keep thinking, the Clippers are better than this. They can play better than this. But we're going into Game 5.
Yeah.
And I thought Game 3 was it. I tweeted and I agreed with other people. I thought Game 3 was huge going into it. And I thought whoever won that game would win the series. And I do still think that. And the Clippers, kind of blew out the Mavs. Not really, because the Mavs came back. But they had that huge lead. And so I thought, well, that's it. The Clippers are just going to... They remembered, oh, yeah, we're dominant. But then they came in this game... And again, it's like they just, I don't know, underestimate the Mavs, and they try to throw them around. They try to get physical or get tough or trash talk or whatever, and the Mavs just do not back down. No. And it's got to be annoying.
It helps to have, and it helps to have one of the best players in the league step up when he's got to step up, play big when he's got to play big. It helps the other players on the team with their confidence because they know that they have a guy that can go at this team and win.
They have the guy.
They have that guy. They have their Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
And right now he's playing great. I mean, 43 points, 17 rebounds, 13 assists. It's unbelievable.
He also had 2 steals and 1 block.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The guy is and take away just that game-winning shot, the way he played at the end of the fourth and in the overtime, he never wilts. Like anytime the Clippers were making a run or they got the lead, he just kept coming back at him. And when you know you have that guy on your team, the rest of the players can feel confident. And I think right now that's the problem with the Clippers, quote unquote, if they're just not playing well or they're not taking the Mavs seriously. If that's the case, the problem is it's too late because you allowed the Mavericks to have this much confidence. So if you think you're just going to come out in Game 5 and destroy them, it's not going to happen because the Mavericks know now that they can play with you.
Now, according to Shaq, Luka's performance was not that impressive. Because I don't know if the listeners watched the TNT show. Like, we switched it immediately because we just wanted to hear someone talk about it. And so we knew they would probably talk about it before the Raptors game. And so they started, Luka, the stat line. And Shaq, immediately shut it down.
We've seen this before.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't want to hear nothing or whatever. And they're like, we're just saying it's amazing. And he legit got mad. Like, he wouldn't let them say anything.
Is he better than Steph?
Is he better than Steph?
Is he better than Harden?
Is he better than Harden?
And Barkley was frozen because he was like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, Shaq was mad, and he was like, Shaq was like, we've seen this before. And I'm like, well, technically you haven't, because literally no one has put up that stat line.
Yeah.
He talked about the stuff that Dame has done or that Steph has done in the past.
And they got respect and they got credit.
And it's like, okay, is your question is Luka better than Steph? To me, that's not an insult. That's not a shut it down kind of question. That's like, wow, we're actually talking about if this 21-year-old guy is as good as Steph.
To be fair, no one was asking that question.
Yeah, we're just celebrating about the game.
Yes, and the fact is he put up 43 points, 17 rebounds, 13 assists, and hit the game winner against the Clippers when the Mavericks were massive underdogs.
And he wouldn't let them talk about it at all.
And it's like, well, dude, we're not saying he's the best player in the league. We're just celebrating what he's done. And I think what it is he's on those haters that don't like when Luka gets credit or respect or is in the media.
I don't know. Shaq is just too old school because he always goes on how this big man needs to post up or something or this.
Just shut up.
Yeah, and so I think part of that, I don't know. I guess part of that plays into the Luka thing because he shoots threes. I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but I think it's because of the media hype that Luka gets, and he's like, just calm down, people.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
what he was like, calm down. It's like, why?
Why calm down? Every single player pretty much was tweeting about the game because it was a huge shot, even if it wasn't Luka that made it. And somebody else, it was a buzzer beater in the playoffs.
Yeah.
How are we not going to talk about that? And the dude dropped 43, 17, and 13.
And 2 steals in a block.
And one of those steals was ripping it right from playoff P.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, do you want to talk about Maxi? Okay, there's one thing.
Poor guy.
One thing I want to say about Maxi as well as Dorian, because Maxi has obviously just really struggled offensively. Like today, he was 2 for 8. I think for the series, he's like 3 for 58 or something. Yeah. And I am kind of buying more into the idea that his defense is just wearing him out because if you think about it, Dorian hasn't struggled shooting as much, but like in this game, he had 8. I feel like offensively,
That's a normal Dorian, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like offensively, you're getting less from Dorian than you normally do. And not like he averages 15, but I feel like they're getting less. And so with that coupled with Kleber, I'm like, okay, maybe it is just the defense is wearing them out.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're asking Maxi to guard Kawhi one-on-one.
Yeah.
And
every possession.
Yeah, and to be fair, if you look at somebody, I think it was Kirk Henderson, somebody posted about Maxi's defense on Kawhi. Although it looks terrible, he's like the third best defender against him.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, I'm not a huge believer in Kawhi, but if Maxi's been the third best defender on him and he's doing this,
Yeah.
like, how does he do when he has a bad defender on
Yeah.
him? So I got to change my view on Kawhi.
Maybe, but that's
Anyways,
irrelevant.
yes. And he's playing good defense on Kawhi. Kawhi's just hitting Dirk type shots.
Yeah.
And
they're turnaround fadeaways in the mid-range. And
And
honestly,
he just-
that's the shot you want to give him.
that's what Jordan won 6 championships on with.
Now, like, he hits it, which is what he does, but that's the shot you want to give him. And if he hits it, fine, but at least you gave
You're
yourself
not giving
the
him a
best
layup
chance.
or
Yeah.
a dunk.
Or a wide open three, which he does get sometimes. Yeah.
So he's playing great defense on him, and I think it is wearing him out. But I also think some of these threes in this game, because I had a feeling Maxi was going to hit a big three at some point in this game, and 2 of them were literally in and out. They rolled in and came out. I was like, this poor guy can't buy a bucket.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's possible his defense is affecting him on his shot, but I think it's more he's just missing his shot. I feel like he's rushing them.
Maybe.
And then Dorian has been so quiet, and maybe we got to look at these games and see what is he doing to Paul George. Maybe he is actually impacting Paul George.
Maybe.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
mean, I think the moment maybe getting to Kleber too. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but just anytime a guy struggles that much in his first NBA playoff series, you have to imagine that it must kind of be the moment, but it could just be that plus the defense that he's playing on every single possession. But I think he's due for a breakout game.
I was going to say, I still believe Maxi is going to have an impact in one of these games.
Yeah.
And, that's the great thing is right now, Luka, Porzingis before he was out, Trey Burke and Seth, and even Tim Hardaway. We're not even talking about Tim Hardaway. But man, has he played great? And some of his shots are like, no, yes,
that's Hardaway.
It's like, yes,
Tim Yolo Hardaway
yes,
Jr.
and but they're going in, for the most part, and all these guards are having huge series against the so-called best defensive team with Kawhi, Paul George.
That is true.
And all the guards are killing him.
Yeah, and I mean, when you think about it, that's totally true. It's Luka, Tim Hardaway, Trey Burke, Seth Curry. These are all guards and small guards in the case of, I guess,
Seth
Curry
and Trey. Yeah.
And the Clippers not only had the best defense in the league, but they're perimeter defenders. I mean, you've got Paul George and Kawhi, and Beverly has been out, but they have guys that can guard. Yeah,
Patrick Beverly.
But it's like, and of course, in game 1, they were torching them even with Beverly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, their defense, the guards are getting into the lane at will, and that was another thing Doc Rivers pointed out. He was like, I don't think, like individually, we're playing good defense. Like and I don't know. Yeah. It's again, it goes back to the question of like, is it the Clippers or is it the Mavs?
I was gonna say at some point you got to give credit to the Mavericks.
Yeah, which Doc does.
Yes,
which is nice.
Paul George don't playoff Pete. Luka cannot be guarded.
No, he can't.
He cannot be guarded.
He does what he wants.
Yes. Now he has a couple of possessions in each game where it's like you're dribbling too much, but who doesn't? Every player in the league sometimes just has a bad possession where they just don't get the shot that they want. They didn't get the angle that they wanted or whatever. That happens to everybody. But for the most part, he cannot be guarded.
No.
He gets where he wants to be, when he wants to get there. I think he only shot 5 free throws, which is ridiculously stupid by the officials. For a guy that drives to the basket as much as he does and as physical as the Clippers defense is, for him to only get 5 free throws is a joke.
Yeah, speaking of the Clippers' physicality, now I feel like that's all they have. Like
it's like they did in game 2.
Yeah, like they're trying to rough up the Mavs or get in their face or whatever.
The Mavs aren't
and
backing
it's
down.
not working. So it's like, crap, what do we do? Like these guys aren't backing down. And I don't know, like without that, because when the Mavs played the Clippers, that was the one thing we said about those games and
the mental toughness.
Yeah, and well, no, the physicality.
Yeah.
And anytime the Mavs played a team that they just straight up beat them, it usually was physicality that got to them. And we talked about that so much. But in this series, it has been a non-factor. And so without that, that was the one thing the Clippers did really well against the Mavs.
So,
do you have words?
They're there. My thought was building in my head, and the words just weren't coming out.
Did I talk too long?
No. So what always affected Luka was the physical defense. He didn't feel like he was getting calls.
Yeah.
Constantly complaining, constantly ripping his jerseys. Yeah. Like he was getting flustered. He was getting irritated. And that's really the only way you can take him out.
Yeah.
Did you see him one time in this game, well, after the second quarter, one time in this game get flustered, yell at the refs?
No.
Constantly. No. Like, he had conversations with them.
As a normal player does.
He wasn't complaining. He was not flustered. They couldn't get in his head.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it reminded me, I watched the Last Dance, Jordan, whatever, and it's the Bulls against the Pistons.
Oh, yeah.
And the Pistons always would just foul, and beat them up. And the Pistons are like, once Scotty didn't respond, when they fouled him really, really hard, because they used to get in Scotty's head.
Oh.
They would foul him super hard, and he just didn't even respond to it. They were like, we knew at that point they were going to beat us. Yes.
Yeah.
And now, like, if you can't get in Luka's head,
you can't
stop him.
Yeah. Because that was the only way. The only times he had bad games was when he, like, the officiating would get to him too much, or the physicality would get to him too much, or even he would just get inside his own head. Like, his shot wasn't falling, or he would get too emotional about it. And honestly, like, in game 3, you could tell he was very bothered at the end of that game. You could tell it really bothered him. But he bounced back really well. And in this game, he just stayed at it. And so it's like, yeah, we always talked about it. Every time they played the Clippers, it's like their physicality is just too much. And so without that, it's like, man, I don't know.
And there's a lot of calls that the Clippers get that the Mavs don't.
Yeah.
And like that one where Lou Williams ripped it from Luka, it was a clear foul.
That was a foul.
It was so obvious. You're right there. And it's like, so you get irritated. And if you're a player, that gets to your head. But I think they kind of realize now they're just going to get more calls.
Yeah.
And Carlisle even talked about it in his postgame. He said, we're wasting too much energy talking about or complaining about officials. Just go out there and play your game. And if you are focused, you're not concerned about what outside forces are doing, they're a really tough team to beat.
Yeah. Okay, 2 questions. Luka's game winner. Where does that rank on the list of Mavs game winners? Now,
in the playoffs.
We'll say in recent history, like, you probably started watching in, 2000?
Yes.
2000. So we'll say from 2000 on. We'll say from the Dirk era on.
Well, obviously, number 1 is Dirk against the Heat, game 2.
Game 2, yeah.
Number 2 is Dirk against the Heat in game 4.
Okay.
Number 3 is Dirk
against the Spurs
in game 7.
In 06.
I'm sure Dirk had another one in there that we're just not remembering.
In the playoffs,
yes. But this one may be top 5. You also have that Vince Carter.
Okay, so is it better than the Vince Carter shot?
Yes, it is. Because Vince Carter's was a catch and shoot 3.
Yeah.
He had to do a pump fake, but it was a catch and shoot. Luka just straight up put a man on skates, stepped back from 27 feet
and just
in overtime and swished it.
And I think also, if you take the whole body of work, obviously Luka's game, the 43 points and all that, better than what Vince did in that game. So if you take that into consideration, then obviously, better. So top 5 easily. Where does this rank as a playoff game in Mavs history?
Man, it might even also be top 5 because you still have some, obviously, Dirk's game 1 against the Thunder where he had 48 points on 15 shots.
Yeah.
Game 6, I think it was game 5 or 6 against the Suns back in 2006 where he dropped a 50 piece.
Oh, yeah.
Dirk had a 46-point game against Blazers a long, long time ago. The Thunder game where he had 40 in game 3 in 2011 where he hit like every shot down the end of the stretch. And then maybe Lukas is there. But he's got a long way to go to be on the same level as Dirk.
My case for that would be obviously the points, Dirk has the edge. But if you look at the triple-double. 17 rebounds, 13 assists, 2 steals, 1 block.
It's got to be the greatest.
Game-winning buzzer beater in overtime.
It's got to be the greatest performance in Mavs playoff history. And that's saying something.
So I make the argument, and then I'm like, is it too early?
It's bittersweet.
Does the fact that he's 21 matter?
We don't want to move Dirk aside early.
Maybe it's too... But, if it is, it is. It's either better than or it's
on the same
not.
level. Yeah. It you know what? It don't matter. We can enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I just what a game. What a player.
And without Kristaps.
It's and I hope he's healthy for game 5. Cuz they're going to definitely need him cuz he was huge in game 3.
I mean, when are the Clippers going to be the Clippers that we thought they were?
I think they are who we thought they were. That's 2 pods in a row where I've done that. Look, we will talk about the Clippers defense, and I think they have a stifling defense, but I think the mistake they made in the regular season was show the Mavericks their defense. Because now the Mavericks have played it 8 times now or something like that. Mm-hmm. There's nothing more the Clippers can show them that will throw the Mavericks off. And so I think now the Mavericks are in their rhythm. They're in their groove. And
they're confident.
Yeah, and they're confident. And that's the problem with the Clippers. If you play around, you're going to give a team confidence. Now, the Clippers may still win the series, but they're just making it harder on themselves.
Yeah. So do you think the Clippers are still going to win the series?
It's hard for me to say no, because how often does a 2 seed lose to the 7 seed? In fact, I don't know if it's ever even happened. It is possible.
Sure it has, yeah. If an 8 seed has beat a 1 seed, I'm sure, yeah.
So I don't know. I think...
to me, it's starting to... I'm not going to let you answer that,
Of
obviously.
course not, yeah.
To me, it's starting to feel more and more like the Lakers series in 2011. And I know that sounds stupidly crazy.
Where we kept, well.
Yeah, because we thought going into that series, the Mavs are definitely losing this series because the Lakers were back-to-back champs and they were going to win a ring that year.
And we didn't know what the Mavericks were that year yet.
And we were like, the Lakers are just better, but that's okay. Like, I don't mind losing to the eventual champs. And then they won game 1, and I was like, okay, whatever, And then they won game 2, and I was like, that's weird. But and I swear, even after game 3, I was like, no, the Lakers are winning this series.
I think we believed it when they were up by 30.
Yeah, and then we were like, oh my God. So this series, the more games the Mavs win, and the more I see the way that they play against the Clippers, like, it's no problem. Now, I mean, in game 3, I guess... Like, this is the thing with playoffs. When you lose, you feel like you're never going to win again. And when you win, you feel like you're never going to lose again. But the more I see the Mavs play, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe this isn't as sealed shut as I thought it would be.
I think the Clippers have outplayed the Mavericks in about 2 quarters.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that was game 2 of this game. I mean, quarter game 2 of this game. Quarter 2 of this game, where really the Mavs kind of made a run at the end of it. Mm-hmm. And then quarter 2 of the last game. Yeah. But outside of that, I feel like the Mavericks have outplayed them and really should be up 3-1. I mean, that game 1, they had a real shot at winning it.
Now, what sucks is that it doesn't matter that they should be up 3-1.
Right, because it's playoff basketball.
Yeah, well, and you could still lose the series, and it wouldn't matter if you thought you should win it or whatever. So that's what sucks, is that they lost game 1, and you can't get it back.
But the confidence.
Yeah.
The
and
confidence
it just doesn't
the Mavs.
Go away.
Yes, the confidence. Well, now they know they have outplayed them.
Yeah, they've done screwed up now. Like, you've messed up.
Yes, and I mean, Luka's on a bum ankle.
Yeah.
Without Porzingis, the dude drops 43, and he was just, in that 4th quarter and overtime, he was special. He was MVP level. He was, Luka legend at that point, and it was just so much fun to watch. And even Maxi's blown coverage of that Kawhi.
Oh my God. And it was
like, why? Just let him have the 2. You don't want a 3 here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that was the same mistake he made in their first game against the Lakers. That was why Danny Green was wide open in the corner because Maxi
he helped out,
off.
And he shouldn't have helped.
Yeah, and so...
It's his nature. He's a help side defender.
I guess, and so he did the exact same thing, and I'm like, oh my God, when are you going to stop doing that in this situation?
And I love how the Clippers still talk trash, like, after that Marcus Morris shot something at Maxi's feet. But it's just great that we came back and won.
Yeah.
So it's like all your trash talking, all your toughness, all this crap, and we beat you.
Okay, so I still think the Mavs are going to lose the series, and I feel stupid saying that now, but let's ignore that next game. Game 5, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, we need Kristaps back.
You know what? Delon Wright didn't play in this game.
Yeah, well, because Delon has been trash.
Yeah.
Delon's been trash. And it's like, why would you give him minutes when Trey Burke is playing so well, and Seth and Tim Hardaway and Luka? That's 4 guards. You don't need a 5th.
He actually, I mean, Barea played 5 minutes in this game, but those were not a good 5 minutes, so he didn't play after
Barea.
that.
He's done.
He's older, and the injury.
He just can't create the separation that he used to, and he doesn't have the same lift, so he can't make these miracle layups that he used to make.
Well, and he was really shifty, and and he could just kind of jump side to side, and his hesitations
doesn't have that same quickness.
Yeah, that pop just isn't there anymore, and so he can't get the space.
But there's no need to play Delon.
Yeah, if he's not going to play well, he's had a couple of moments. But overall, he hasn't really helped at all.
And it's like I said, why would you play him when you can always have Seth and Trey?
Yeah.
Or Luka and Trey and Luka and Seth or whatever on the court at all times.
Justin Jackson played 5 minutes and then never saw the court
again. I think he
again.
had to because of the Porzingis injury. I think Carlisle was trying to figure out some kind of lineup and realized this was a terrible mistake and never played him again.
Okay, so assuming Kristaps is back for Game 5, I mean, I know I'm a Mavs fan, but I think the Clippers are going to win Game 5 because I just think at some point they're going to be the Clippers and they're going to win the series.
But why can't it be that they are being the Clippers and the Mavericks are just good?
Them.
I'm not saying the Mavs are going to win the series, but let's just say the Mavericks are actually good.
Yeah.
They're playing well, and so the Clippers are getting flustered on defense. They are losing their man, not because they're a bad defensive team, but because the Mavericks are a historically great offensive team.
Is true.
And they have confidence. So
and their defense right now. And
their defense is better. I told you, all they have to do is be okay, is good. You just don't want to be bad. Your offense is so good that if you're just okay.
Yeah, I think because you were like, since they have they have the best offense in NBA history. If you just have a top 10 defense, then that's
you're
generally
contenders.
That's going to be enough.
And so, in my opinion, yes, the Clippers again. They're thinking that they should blow this team out. And whenever they don't, in their mind, we let up. Yeah. We're not playing our game. We're not trying hard. We're emotionally soft, all this. And really, maybe it's just the Mavericks are good. Yeah. And you guys are in a dogfight. And the Mavericks are ripping your defense to shreds, not because you're not trying or not because you're not good, but because they are that good on offense.
Yeah, they're currently 12th. In the playoffs.
But the Clippers are great
in
offense.
Defensive
they
rating.
were the second best offense in the league.
But 12th is better than they were in the regular season.
Yeah,
so that's still an improvement.
12th out of 16 playoff teams.
Yeah, I guess
so it's not the same. But again, you're going against the number 2 offense in the league. So I don't know. I think I'm just going to say it. The Mavs win Game 5.
I'll come back to that.
Okay.
The Clippers' defensive rating, they're 13th.
So they're better. I mean, they're worse than the Mavs.
Yeah. No, they're 117.1. The Mavs are 117.0. But still, the Mavs are technically playing better defense than the Clippers right now. And their offensive rating, the Mavericks are 4th and the Clippers are 5th. And
so, again.
Dang.
So is it that the Clippers are just not playing hard, or is it the fact that the Mavericks are good and they're confident and they're in a dogfight? They got to start recognizing that because they keep saying, well, anytime we let up, we lose. And if we just play...
Like Paul George, honestly, I make some shots and this is a different series. Like, thank you.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. Porzingis doesn't get ejected Game 1. This is a different series. Luka doesn't rip his ankle to shreds in Game 3. This is a different series.
So you think the Mavs are winning Game 5?
Yeah, because in the playoff basketball, after a win, you feel like you're never going to lose. So I'm going to ride that. I think the Mavs win Game 5.
I mean,
if Porzingis plays.
I think there's a good chance they win Game 5. And I think the more time that goes on, the Mavs get so much confidence, and maybe the Clippers, maybe they don't want to chase them around for 7 games.
I don't think the Mavericks have any more confidence that can be given them.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That's all I have. Was there anything else you feel? No. Okay, cool.
I don't know, like, our last couple of pods, because we're only doing them on wins.
Oh, yeah.
And
because when the Mavs lose, I don't
want to hear nothing.
Yeah. I don't listen to pods. I don't read anything. I'm, like, dead inside.
But we're not doing a great analysis. It's more of just excitement and talk of the game.
Yeah, there's other things that are good for that. This is just it's the fan cast.
All right.
Anyways, thank you guys for listening. All of that stuff is great, and you can follow us on Twitter.
Great outro.
@_Sydney Myers. Martin is @Martin L. Myers.
I got blocked today.
Oh, yeah, you got blocked by
Brad
Townsend. I know.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
Kind of funny. Yeah, kind of funny. I mean, it is what it is. I deserve to be blocked. I'm going to hold myself accountable.
Okay.
I deserved it. I crossed the line twice in back-to-back tweets, but I just got frustrated because if you don't want to answer questions, then just don't answer them. Don't insult people.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Should I take that out?
No. Outro.
Okay. The site is DallasHoopsCast.com, where you can listen to new episodes and read exclusive articles. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye. Are you going to say bye?
Nope. Leave it in there.